Check out carmarshal.com. The link is in the description. They help support us.
Two police officers in the US state of Cincinnati are accused of using excessive force after tasering suspects during a domestic dispute inquiry. Body cam footage of the incident that happened early this year is only just surfaced. A word of warning, though, you might find some of the footage disturbing.
Come here! You're gonna get tased!
Well, the officers confronted two men inside a house, tasering them without prior indication they were under threat. One of the men suffered from a collapsed lung as a result of the confrontation. A complaint was filed by the county's prosecutor, but the county's prosecutor has prevented the officers from being interviewed. Since 2000, over 1,000 people have died in the US after being stunned with tasers by police, and 9 out of 10 were also unarmed. A number of those tasered also suffered from mental illness. In fact, concerns of police abuse have now prompted Amnesty International to issue an appeal for stricter taser rules in the US. One victim who sued officers described for us what he went through.
I've recovered, like, physically, but mentally I don't know, it's hard to think about still, even though it's been a year.
We need you to cooperate. Okay? Calm down. Get it together.
They just repeatedly did it over and over and over, and 2 days into it, they just kept telling me that there was not going to be a bond. And you're supposed to feel comfortable around police. The way they were laughing and pretty much having fun with it, I was afraid that they were going to try and kill me.
Well, we spoke to the lawyer who represented Jordan Norris there during his case, and he says the police actions could amount to torture.
I first met with Jordan actually in this office, and he told me what had happened, and it was hard to believe, frankly. The question that the law asks is whether or not the use of force had a legitimate law enforcement purpose. In other words, was it necessary to keep this person in custody in a safe environment to use the force in question? In this situation where he's already fully restrained, he's being tased anyway, I didn't see any legitimate law enforcement reason for that force to be used. And if they're using, painful force against this young man without any reason, I can't really think of a better word than torture to describe that.
Watch. Cops repeatedly taser two nonviolent siblings, one suffers collapsed lung. Cincinnati police now stand accused of using excessive force after police repeatedly tasered two young men during a domestic call-out. By the Free Thought Project, December 15, 2017. Cincinnati OH.RT, two law enforcement officers in Ohio are being accused of police brutality after footage emerged of them tasering suspects during a domestic dispute call. One of the victims suffered a collapsed lung as a result of the incident. The video, captured on a body cam, shows two officers responding to a domestic dispute in Cincinnati. The call was made by Angela Brown, who said her two sons, who are half-brothers, refused to get out of her house. The situation is initially somewhat calm. However, Brown can be heard saying, "Here they at, disrespecting me and everything," referring to 24-year-old Richard Coleman and 25-year-old James Crawley. When Coleman gets up to speak to the officers and explain the situation, he is immediately met with a command to sit down. A small scuffle breaks out between the brothers when one jumps up in anger at the fact that the police were called. It doesn't take long for one officer to point his taser at Crawley. Advertisement. It escalates from there, and Crawley is tasered less than 2 minutes into the video. Coleman is also tasered at least 4 times soon afterwards. One brother pleads for the officer to listen to what he has to say. They refuse, and one shouts, "Get on the ground, I'm gonna put you on the F-king ground." A third officer eventually arrives at the scene, and the cops physically force both brothers to the ground. One officer can be seen pulling Crawley's hair. "We're not doing nothing," one of the brothers shouts. Coleman suffered from a collapsed lung following the incident. He was recovering from back fusion surgery at the time. Both brothers received their first criminal convictions as a result of the event, according to Cincinnati.com. Read more. Cops raid wrong home then humiliate family by posting photos of them handcuffed on Snapchat. However, at no point in the video were they informed that they were under arrest, nor were they read their Miranda rights. This is particularly notable because Cincinnati Police Department policy states that tasers are only to be used on those who are actively resisting arrest. The brothers were charged with resisting arrest and trespassing. Crawley faces an additional felony charge of assaulting a police officer, and could receive between 2 and 8 years in prison and or a fine of up to $20,000. The footage has prompted an extraordinary intervention by the Hamilton County prosecutor, who has instigated an external city investigation into the use of force, according to Cincinnati.com. An internal investigation by the department is also reportedly taking place. It's not the first time that police in the U.S. have come under fire for their heavy-handed use of tasers. RT spoke to Jordan Norris, who last year was repeatedly tasered by police after being detained on drug charges, despite being strapped to a chair and therefore not posing any threat. "I've recovered physically, but mentally it's hard to think about still," he said. "They just repeatedly did it over and over, the way they were laughing and pretty much having fun with it. I was afraid that they were going to try and kill me." Norris sued Cheatham County following the incident. A settlement was reached in September. The question that the law asks is whether or not the use of force had a legitimate law enforcement purpose. In this situation where he's already fully restrained, he's being tossed anyway. I didn't see any legitimate law enforcement reason for that force to be used. And if they're using painful force against this young man without any reason, I can't really think of a better word than torture to describe that, Norris attorney, Benjamin Rabin, told RT. Read more. Parents sue after video shows officers execute their son in firing squad fashion. Meanwhile, Amnesty International has long expressed concerns regarding the use of tasers by U.S. police, writing a statement to the U.S. Justice Department in 2007 and urging stricter limits on police taser use in 2012. More than 1,000 people in the U.S. have died after being stunned by police tasers, a Reuters investigation revealed in August. 9 out of 10 of those who died were unarmed. Nearly all of the deaths occurred since 2000.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheeple up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Charlotte County Cop Watch with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave let's say actually yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. that would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But, you know, do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, you know, at least I can do it. You know, 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea, too, that we have is, you know, if I got, you know, some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here, and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. You know, 47,000 of you so far right now. You know, $1 a day. I mean, $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head. Help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.